Hi, how many of you have heard of the theologian or writer, author C.S. Lewis? Now, in my humble estimation, opinion, if you will, C.S. Lewis was probably the greatest Christian theologian of the 20th century. He wrote some amazing things, and as I was reading Proverbs 11, he came to mind. And so I'd like to share that with you today. Hi, I'm Pastor Mark with Heights Christian Church. And what we are doing, we are going through the Bible in 5 years. And so what we are trying to do, we are trying to ask you to subscribe to this channel. And if you do that, every day you could be a part of the reading that not only I do, but our whole congregation of Heights is spending that time together. So all the members of Heights are reading Proverbs 11 today. And we're doing it together as a congregation, as a fellowship of Christians together. If you're not a Christian, then my suggestion is that you are. You give your heart to Jesus Christ. Anyway, let's dive into Proverbs 11 today, and then we'll talk about what does C.S. Lewis have to do with Proverbs 11. The Lord detests dishonest scales, but accurate weights find favor with him. When pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom. The integrity of the upright guides them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity. Wealth is worthless in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death. The righteousness of the blameless makes their paths straight, but the wicked are brought down by their own wickedness. The righteousness of the upright delivers them, but the unfaithful are trapped by evil desires. Hopes placed in mortals die with them. All the promise of their power comes to nothing. The righteous person is rescued from trouble, and it falls on the wicked instead. With their mouths the godless destroy their neighbors, but through knowledge the righteous escape. When the righteous prosper, the city rejoices. When the wicked perish, there are shouts of joy. Through the blessing of an upright city, Through the blessing of the upright, a city is exalted, but by the mouth of the wicked it is destroyed. Whoever derides their neighbor has no sense, but the one who has understanding holds their tongue. A gossip betrays confidence, but a trustworthy person keeps a secret. For lack of guidance, a nation falls, but victory is won through many advisers. Whoever puts up security for a stranger will surely suffer, but whoever refuses to shake hands and pledge is safe. A kind-hearted woman gains honor, but ruthless men gain only wealth. Those who are kind benefit themselves, but the cruel bring ruin on themselves. A wicked person earns deceptive wages, but the one who sows righteousness reaps a sure reward. Truly, the righteous attain life, but whoever pursues evil finds death. The Lord detests those whose hearts are perverse, but he delights in those whose ways are blameless. Be sure of this: the wicked will not go unpunished, but those who are righteous will go free. Like a gold ring in a pig's snout is a beautiful woman who shows no discretion. The desire of the righteous ends only in good, but the hope of the wicked only in wrath. One person gives freely, yet gains even more. Another withholds unduly, but comes to poverty. A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed. People curse the one who hoards grain, but they pray God's blessing on the one who is willing to sell. Whoever seeks good finds favor, but evil comes to one who searches for it. Those who trust in their riches will fall, but the righteous will thrive like a green leaf. Whoever brings ruin on their family will inherit only wind, and the fool will be servant to the wise. The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, and the one who is wise saves lives. If the righteous receive their due on earth, how much more the ungodly and the sinner. Wow. So this is really good stuff. Again, there's a lot of different. It bounces around everywhere, but I just want to point out a few of the verses that we want to look at. That all of these are truths that Solomon saw, and so that he is sharing these pithy sayings to help us and guide us to go God's way rather than our own. And so let's look at a few of them. So where am I at? This is not where I want to be. Interesting. I don't know. Oh, here we go. So let's look at Proverbs 11:2. When pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom. Solomon is saying it's better to be humble than be prideful. And so, which made me think of C.S. Lewis and his quote on humility. And so I want to bring that to you. His thing says this: true humility is not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less. Wow, that's almost proverbial, isn't it? It's got a little proverb to it that comes from C.S. Lewis, and I just think that's very interesting. It just made me think of him. And then the other ones are Proverbs 11:24 through 26, and this is grouped together talking about generosity. One person gives freely yet gains even more. Another withholds unduly but comes to poverty. A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed. People curse the one who hoards grain, but they pray God's blessing on the one who is willing to sell or be able to make grain available. So, again, generosity. And so this is another C.S. Lewis quote talking about prosperity and being able to give and generosity. He says, I do not believe one can settle on how much we ought to give. I am afraid the only safe rule is to give more than we can spare. So I just think that's good. One of the things is you need to find some authors, either, literature that expands on biblical truths, or read supplemental things of people that are Christian and use the Bible and their principles to help us further our learning. Now, I recommend C.S. Lewis. If you have not read C.S. Lewis, or if you don't know who C.S. Lewis is, you might recognize he wrote a series of children's books that really aren't just for children, for everybody. The Chronicles of Narnia is a group of fiction about some children in a wardrobe, and so this is important to look at. Those are great books, have biblical truths in them. He has the Space Trilogy. He's written another fiction, and it's called the Screw Tape Letters. The Screw Tape Letters is a fictional writer of two demons writing on how to trip up humanity and to point them to the devil rather than God. It's amazing. It's an amazing book. Now you might notice that he is most famous for probably a book called Mere Christianity. I mean, this is one of the first books I ever read from C.S. Lewis. It's a series of radio broadcasts that he did during World War II, pointing people toward a Christian life, and that's an amazing one. And then he also did A Grief Observed, and Grief Observed is his real life musings from the loss of his wife. Anyway, that's my encouragement today. Read the Bible. Absolutely read the Bible. But if you do any supplemental reading, find authors that can help guide you as you study Scripture. C.S. Lewis is a great place to start. Anyway, I hope you have a great day, and we'll be talking to you tomorrow.